Welcome to the Dream Hotel. More importantly, welcome to a Sweet Life podcast. Sitting here with our esteemed guest, my man DJ Hed, my man Chuck Dizzle. You know, this guy next to me, Chief. Just Chief. Like, that's
Chief.
it.
Malik.
What's going on?
Good,
How y'all
man.
feeling?
Man, we good, man. Appreciate y'all having us, man.
I thank you for allowing us to be here and participate in this mukbang.
Already off the rip. Off the rip.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is food. So, you know, when you told me like this was the vibe, I'm like, bet, let's do it.
Just make sure the food is here.
To be clear, I'm here for the food and not y'all.
Okay.
Straight for the food.
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty.
Food
Yo,
and music.
We 2023.
Man.
How's it going thus far?
For me, it's growing. I mean, it's great. You know, I'm enjoying unemployment.
You asked about 22.
Yeah.
It was kind of sketchy.
Nah, it's good though. Like, you know, Chuck is still at the radio station, but we still have our collective Homegrown Radio, our podcast, our business, our entity, our website. We still got the team is intact, so it's off to a good start for me.
Promising, man. I'm expecting another little baby boy, so I'm excited about that. So, you know.
Total number of kids, what you got?
2, second one.
Okay.
Second boy.
They gonna have more. I just hit the group chat this morning talking about how him and his family bleeding his drive for baby goods and
This dude, he got my wife, what'd you call it?
Titty pump.
A titty pump.
titty pump. It pumped the titties. You know what I mean?
Now, a lot of people will listen, they'll be like, oh my God, that's so hard. Look, I've known this dude 15 years, so there's nothing he can say, nothing he can do that's like shocking. So when my wife opened it up, she said, oh my God, look what Hed got. Look at the note. It says something. Here's your titty pump. So we just started laughing
Titty pump
about
for
that.
his wife.
It
That's
takes
not too
community
personal,
though.
right?
No. It's all good.
What you think? She was too personal?
Titty, right? Right.
It pumped the titty.
And it pumped. So, you know, it is what it is. But it takes a community, man, and that's the importance of it. So, but yeah, man, just fatherhood. I'm looking forward to that for 2023. How about y'all, man?
Again, like we alluded to, growing a sweet life. On a personal, it's all personal actually. It's all personal at this point, right? But on a personal level, even we can always become better fathers. We can always become better significant others. We can always become better sons, you know, brothers. So I think this year, for me, one thing is just learning how to not let things affect me in a way where life is gonna happen. Right? Someone said it a couple of weeks ago. Life is gonna life, and you have to be prepared for that. So this year I want to be better at when life's just rolling with it, not
Reacting.
Yeah, well, not swimming upstream against it. You know what I'm saying? That's not saying just fuck it.
Yeah, just life.
Life is life, and you know what's going. But it's more like, okay, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get up tomorrow and I'm gonna have another crack at it. Because this year, this was a tough year. 2022 was pretty tough. I went through some, you know, my family as a whole, we went through some challenging things, and some of those things are bleeding over into this year and will bleed over into the next 20 years. But I feel like I'm better prepared because I have a different perspective now. And that perspective is that it's not the end. A little painful, swish around your feet around in it a little bit, but then you got to get up and then be accountable to the people you're accountable for, and just go out and do what you got to do.
Change your mindset, change your life.
Yeah. But definitely this. Looking forward to everything that's on the horizon. Starting off the year with you guys on the show is amazing because, you know, I've known Hed, 17 years.
Yeah.
Because I met Hed through my interaction with Glasses Malone.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And Glasses always was like, yo, man, Hed's teaching me so much about DJing and about music and sonics and different things like this. And then the next thing I knew, Hed was on the radio.
Right.
And now like his involvement, and I shared this with him on the phone the other day, and I want to say it here is that it's beautiful and not to watch his involvement. Like, again, I knew him, he wasn't on the radio. He wasn't, and then to be on the radio and then to become a staple in our community and on the West Coast and in radio, period, and now to be moving towards these other things, what you guys have created with Homegrown Radio, man, I love to see it. I'm out here rooting for every fucking body, like, you know what I mean? And I also share with him that I thought, you know, we need more camaraderie in the community. I don't think it's there as much as we like to pretend it is. And we gotta, this is going to change the paradigm. Like, you change the dynamic, you change the power structure by understanding, yo, we community.
Yeah.
Like, collectively, if we engaged, we can move whatever we want to move.
What are you talking about? As black men, as media, as
Everything,
West Coast?
all
the
of it,
above. Gotcha.
all of it,
I
all
just
the
want to make sure we're
above.
clear on it.
Yeah, all the above.
'Cause I think one thing we aim on this show is to be a resource for people that not only look like us, but people that might not have the access, the knowledge, the awareness. Like, there's hundreds of, probably thousands of kids who would love to be on radio that have no idea
How to do it.
what that takes,
Yeah.
how to get involved with that, how to reach out to somebody, how to DJ. You know, they may not have ever seen turntables before. So hearing, you know, these stories and hearing you guys talk, you know, even for myself, it's a great learning experience because, you know, well respected, like everything Malik said, but also too, I want to know, like, how with you, instead of being a producer or going, you know, you're a DJ, instead of going to be an A&R, why was it radio? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, I started off as just a radio personality. I was going to Cerritos College. I went to school for radio broadcasting in 2004, and I was doing my show at Cerritos College, and then he was doing his show at Long Beach State, and so.
Okay.
But he was already popping though. Like, he was on the
Popping.
he was already on the radio.
I was
and
working
shit.
for 100.3 to beat at the time. Right?
Let me let y'all know.
Yeah, I'm just but my thing was we had the similar journeys. Like, we both love radio coming up, so that was like our soundtrack. You know, kind of like, it's different nowadays. You have so many options, but I remember like the radio. The radio was
Was
And
it?
how big was college radio back then?
Oh my God.
It was the shit because, like he said, there's no outlets. You gotta think. This is right when Twitter was not even a thing.
Twitter
yet.
wasn't even a thing.
This is during MySpace,
Black
Facebook, that type of shit, right? This is like Kanye West College Dropout came out.
Yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying dropped. The documentary had just. I mean, the Game and 50 was beefing. Like, this was that.
Yeah.
This wasn't no Twitter shit. Instagram Live wasn't a thing. Instagram hadn't even been invented yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was no Uber. So, like, the barrier to entry to get onto a media platform was far and few in between. You could either do radio or TV. That's it. So podcasting wasn't even a real thing at that point. Me and him were doing podcasting in 2008, 9-ish before it became a thing. And it was like this little thing on iTunes that was like not even, people didn't know what it
iTunes
was.
hadn't even converted over to podcast format.
No,
we were uploading the shows to the server on iTunes, and
Yeah.
that's how we were saving the shows.
Right.
Years later, they called it podcasting, but
Yeah, so I was doing my shit at Cerritos College, and I was just a radio personality.
You was a Falcon?
Yes, I was just a radio personality. I didn't know how to DJ. I was always intrigued by the craft, because I would be watching Battle Cat, and I would go. I love DJ Battle Cat. Is like, that's my big bro, but that's one of my I idolize DJ Battle Cat. Like, he is west. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. And then at that time, DJ Dents, who DJ for the Clippers now, that's my big bro. Like, Dents was the first DJ to give me his number and like pick up the phone when I called him and shit. And like, he's like, look, I see it in your eyes. Like, if you ever have a question, call me. And he really like gave me game for over the last 20 years. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I'm sorry, 18 years or whatever. And so I always was intrigued by the craft of DJing, but I could never afford the equipment. Just being honest, I was broke. So, shout out to DJ BAD, DJ Bad. He's actually on Real 923 now with Chuck too. He used to let me come. I would go to the club early because I couldn't afford equipment, and I would just be practicing on their shit, and I'd be just fucking his. I'd be fucking his vinyl, fucking his mixer up. I'd be tearing his vinyl up. I'm trying to, learn or whatever. And Dents and DJ, shout out to DJ Cali too. He would let me be his apprentice. I'll carry his crates just for Serato. Like, this is vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Like, we DJing with records. And so I would carry crates and this and that. And then they would let me, like, him and Dents kind of took me under their wing and let me really learn the craft of DJing. And I wouldn't even call myself a DJ. Even when we was doing our thing, I didn't feel like I had earned it. Okay. So I didn't even change my handles. I didn't, like, call myself a DJ. I didn't feel like I earned the title of that because it's a craft. And so that's kind of like where the DJing came from. And then one day, we both know Glasses very well. Well, we all know Glasses very well, but he was like, he just said, hey, cuz, you finna be my DJ. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how to DJ. He was like, well, you the smartest nigga I know. You can learn how to DJ.
You gonna figure it out.
Go figure it out. And just learn how to DJ.
So that's some shit. That's how he would say it too.
Real shit.
That's exactly how
it went down. And so our boy Smarts,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Smarts. He the one that kind of hooked us up. And he was like, y'all kind of do the same shit. Like, why don't y'all do y'all shit together? And I was just like, he was already on the radio. And I was like, man, fuck that. Like, I'm doing my own shit over here. I don't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying?
Got my own shit.
I'm doing my own shit. He do his own shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then one day we went to his show. It was a crazy. It's some footage up of that on you. It's on YouTube where TDE and everybody was there. So he had a show at Long Beach State, and we all went to the show. It was like me, Glasses, the homie Quiz.
It was a Blue Division night.
It was, yeah. We all went, and then it was
Quiz.
Yep, and then was another night where it was J-Rock, Kendrick, Ab-Soul, K-Dot. It wasn't Kendrick at that point. It was K-Dot, like, and it was just everybody would go to the shows.
Was this during the step shows?
This was, well, it wasn't the step show, but this was around the time that those were popular.
Yeah.
I was doing radio at Long Beach State. And matter of fact, I went there between 2001 and 2005. I graduated in 2005.
Got it.
But I still remember, I had a key card. I finessed it, and I never turned my key card in. So I was doing my college radio show, and even after I graduated, I was still doing my show. So while I'm still doing my show, Smarts reached out. He's like, yo, you know Hed? Like, yeah, I've seen him. You know, he hosts a lot of different shit or whatever. He's like, man, y'all do the same thing. Y'all should link up. Called him up. I was like, yo, pull up one of these days. All the Blue Division pulls up. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, one of my first radio guests was Glasses. And
crazy.
I just remember it being a big thing for me at the time because it was like, I was trying to secure guests, trying to do my thing. And for them to come in and support at the time, it was just huge. So again, one night Blue Division took over. Another night TDE took over. And then from there, I'm just like, look, man, I'm about to transition because I knew they were going to kick me out at some point. Because it was like, now we 2008. And they're
you don't even go here.
You don't even go here, bro. Like, why do you still have a key card? So one of those days, they deactivated my key card. I'm like, damn. And to Glasses' point, we just had to figure it out. I'm like, all right, well, look, got an apartment in Inglewood. I know this internet shit is kind of popping. I'd already hijacked the server and built our website. So what happened was people would go to homegrownradio.net, and it would just reroute to the Long Beach State server where the live stream would go. People wouldn't know it wasn't a 24/7 stream, but I just tell people to tune in on Thursday nights at the time. That's when we were doing our show. So I'm like, look, let's just keep it going on Thursday nights. Pull up to the crib. I was like, I don't DJ. You get into DJing, just do the music while I kind of focus on the interviews and kind of talking. And little did I know, this nigga liked to talk a lot too. So it made a good camaraderie when people would pull up to the apartment. And we would start doing the shows from my apartment in Inglewood. Literally built our own little server and kind of started Homegrown from that. That's what people kind of knew, like, oh damn, you guys turned this thing from a college show to an internet show, but y'all competing with like people. It was to the point where people knew, damn, we can't get our records played on the other station on Power. We can pull up to Homegrown and they will fuck with us.
Yep.
And that's kind of how we made our staple in the community. People knew that, oh man, we're gonna be the ones that support the newer acts on the West. You know what I'm saying? When the clubs wasn't rocking, I mean, you remember like it was a drought. You couldn't really perform at different spots. It was ugly at a time.
Club, it went from being to it was like
Dry.
It was super dry.
Super dry.
Super dry.
Super dry.
But people knew that we provided that support. So I mean, we made a whole foundation of people just pulling up to the apartment on Thursday nights. You know, my wife was the one cooking the food at the time, and it was just a real. I look back at those times now. It's like the foundation of what we do. Literally just figuring it out. Like I knew I wanted to do radio. He knew he wanted to do radio, but to be able to kind of provide our own platform was big at the time. And kind of speaking on what you were mentioning earlier, the importance of kind of like working somewhere but having your foot in your own thing. That's the thing that always allowed me to stay at the job that I stayed. You know, I worked for the city of Carson for a long time, but I had my foot trying to build Homegrown. I worked for several radio stations, but I always had my foot trying to build Homegrown. So even when shit was shaky on the corporate side, I knew I had something to kind of fall back on my own end to try to build. And I knew I had my brother here that was, you know, crazy as hell, you know, but a lot of people took to his personality. And we all can talk shit about Hed sometimes, but he'll give you the shirt off his back. And that's what a lot of people kind of may not know about him. And to your point, talking about the evolution of him, I've seen that in real time. I've seen him say some
He saw everything.
cancelable shit. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to evolve as a man and, you know, in his career, it's just a beautiful thing to kind of see your brother kind of like build up in these moments and kind of turn into something like that the world is loving to see, you know?
It's always good to also get, you know, some type of timestamp moment to get context for someone. He will remember when I say so. At this point, this is probably like 2 years ago. I'm living in Encino, and this was when Ahmaud Arbery had been murdered. So I think Matt Barnes called for a run
Yep.
around the community.
Yep.
So I pulled up, and Hed is there,
Frontline.
and I was like, all right. For me, that was just a different. It was like because it was Matt and it was what's his name, Ray Young, who used to go, Jelani, all of the guys now who help him run All the Smoke. I think Jelani McCoy who played with Matt at UCLA, is one of the executive producers of the show. But to see him there and us all, you know, we ran for Ahmaud. He was like, "Look, we gonna do whatever it was,
the
like
exact-
2 more,
it was
the
mapped
exact
out.
the
Yeah.
exact amount of miles and everything." And we got to chop it just a little bit at the beginning before they said a prayer, and then everybody was off. And then, but that stayed with me because to see someone in that environment, that was important to me because I had also I think I'd just been to Minneapolis for George Floyd.
Oh, you went?
Oh, I was there when the city was burning.
Word.
When you can see, I'm arriving, smoke's coming up in the city.
Yeah.
We land. Chief had hooked us up with Bun B, and Bun was with Steven Jackson. And when I walk into the hotel, Steven Jackson is on hands and knees crying in the middle of the thing. He's so hurt, you know what I mean? Everybody's like rubbing his back, you know what I mean? Like just consoling him. So again, I say that to see you in that environment, it meant a lot to me. And I was like, you know what? Because, you know, again, you see him in a different perspective. And
You see the highlights.
the
clickbaits.
sound bites
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
clickbait. But you like, nah.
Those can get crazy at times. My sound bites can get crazy at times.
Wow.
It's been known to
Wild
happen.
takes.
It's been known to happen.
Wild
It's been known
takes.
to happen. Go
What's
ahead.
what's it been like, you know, throughout the course of career? Like you mentioned, TDE, K-Dot. To me, a golden era of like music and hip hop and a lot of emerging West Coast artists.
Yep.
For them to be in your crib in Inglewood,
Yep.
and then you fast forward and you look at the success of all these. What was it like during those times And what is it that you guys looked at when it came to artists? Was it just simply because
We
you're a
didn't know.
West Coast artist, or was it just like,
We didn't know, bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna let him answer, but I'm gonna tell you we didn't know.
We didn't know. We were literally trying to figure it out. Again, our foundation, at least we both had an interest in radio, right? That's what it was initially. I just want to be on the radio, bro.
That's it.
I just want to be on the radio.
Okay.
When I got to work at a radio station, when I worked for the Beat, for my first radio job, I realized, oh, it's not what it's all cracked up to be. You can't just go give a DJ your song and play the song on
Right.
the radio. That doesn't work.
It don't
That's
work
not how it works.
It's
That's
not
not
how
how it works.
Let me look into this camera. That's not how
It's not how it works.
All right.
Look at all the goddamn.
Yeah, look, that one, it's not how it works. So, but I realized that I had the power to do that on my college show. And I had the
Got it.
power to do that on Homegrown when we were building that. So I always made it a point to say, I want to always provide a platform for artists that are coming up. You know, I obviously, since we're here in LA, that was the artist that we had access to. You know, we're not looking at mega stars or superstars. We're just looking at the closest people in reach.
Yep.
Right? Matter of fact, when I was working at the radio station, I remember going up, I was working in promotion, so I was leaving the station one day, and a couple of cats see me in the elevator. They're like, oh, yeah, we just had a meeting with Tawala. Shout out to my guy, Tawala Sharp.
Tawala
He's the
Sharp.
music director here at the Beat. We played some music. We trying to get some play, whatever. We trying to figure it out. Oh, okay, cool. I was like, well, I do a show at Long Beach State. What's your name, bro? Oh, J-Rock, nice to meet you, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Doodah, nice to meet you, bro. Oh, Punch, nice to meet you. Beat, oh, nice to meet y'all, cool. Fostering these relationships with just the closest people I knew. I had no idea it was gonna be megastars. Didn't know it was gonna be TDE, but it was
Grammys and all that.
fostering these relationships early. It was just like, I just liked them because they were cool individuals, for one.
Yeah.
The music spoke for itself after I heard it, and to see them kind of on an incline year after year after year, it's one of those things where, at least for me, I feel like, damn, I'm glad I wasn't an asshole. Damn, I'm glad I provided that opportunity for them, because you just never know. And I always tell people, you never know who you're gonna run into at what stage in their career, what they're gonna be down the line. And that's just one story. I mean,
And
kind of story.
to add to that, well, to go back, we didn't know, like, oh, Kendrick and this, and we didn't know. We was just doing something for three reasons. These are not the only three, but these are the three main, right?
Okay.
We just wanted to be on the radio. It was not available to us, right? Because at that time, the only radio station was Power 106. And they were competing with Kiss FM, and they were playing nothing but fist pump music at that time. So there's also I call it the no man's land. I don't know the actual term for it, but the no man's land time period is after like Game and Dre kind of fell out, and then before the New Boys came out. So right in that whole period right there, it was dead out here. All the labels packed up and went and took their money back to the East Coast.
Yeah.
They weren't spending money in the ecosystem. Nobody was getting signed out here. And the people that were getting signed out here weren't getting properly pushed. You had Glasses Malone, you had Hot Dollar, you had Gorilla Black, you had J-Rock, who signed to Warner at the time. You had You had Problem. You had Bishop Lamont. You had like
Blue. What's Spider Load?
Spider Load. You had Spider Load.
Because I met him on the set of a video up in.
You had that
Yeah.
whole era of what people call the New West or whatever that was coming up at that time, right? And to me, that's where my passion, that's where my fire started to burn, because I realized how hard it was for us. And so that's where like my burning desire, that's why like if people are like, oh, Hed, West Coast, that's where that came from. Like that came from me understanding the trials and tribulations of being an artist from here. Because people that are not from, shout out to homie Big School, he from Kansas City with Tech 9. We had this argument on the tour bus one time. He was like, LA niggas, y'all spoiled. Y'all got the record labels in your backyard, Capitol. You can look up and see the Hollywood sign. I mean, I'm like, bro, but in LA, you're either on or you're off. We don't have a chitlin circuit.
Period.
There's no in between.
We don't have a chitlin circuit. You can't go and like out there, Boosie, Webby, right? Webby don't got a hot record right now, not out here, but Webby can go tour in the South and get 10, 20,000 a night, doing 4 nights a week, every night in clubs. No hard ticket sales, none of that. In LA, you got to sell hard tickets, my guy.
Yep.
Hard ticket sales, right? If you're not doing the Novo, if you're not doing the Microsoft Theater, if you're not doing the crypto, if you're not doing the Fonda,
They ain't coming.
the Roxy.
The Roxy.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard. So it's just understanding that nuance, right?
Yeah.
So again, my reasons is we wanted to be on the radio. That wasn't available to us. The only radio station that we could be on wasn't fucking with us, right? Then two, we needed a place for everybody to go. There was nowhere to go. Even doing shows, I just ran down that whole list, right? Everybody who was popping at the time was doing shows at a venue called the Copacabana on Carson Street in Long Beach. There's a little bar, hole in the wall, and these are dudes who got big radio records. Dudes is getting crazy, run, because there was no venues. The crypto hadn't been built. I mean, the Staples Center wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft Theater wasn't here. The Novo wasn't here. You couldn't go to the Fonda because they shut down hip hop in Hollywood.
Yep.
So you couldn't do like the Music Box or none of this shit. You either at the Key Club, which they didn't want to rent that to, which is now One Oak. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a whole history of shit. So in that no man's land that I talk about, where it's like after the game, kind of like him and Drake kind of had their thing, and then before the New Boys came out, we didn't have nothing. We didn't have no resources, no opportunities. And so that's when me and him kind of was like, we're going to create this opportunity and we're going to create this world of our own that we can live and we can support our own culture because there was nowhere else to go. So when it comes to, again, to my point, we didn't know, like, bro, we was just creating something because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A platform and it didn't exist. And we didn't have that many listeners and shit like that. And we didn't know that these people was going to be who they were. We was just trying to push our agenda. And me and him have a love. He loves DJ Quick. It's really crazy how much he loves DJ Quick. But
who's that guy?
I'm not saying he not, but it's other people that
Bruh,
for me.
don't do that.
Wait, so when Quick,
Yes.
so I saw the other, wait. So the other, like 2 weeks ago, Quick was like,
Sweet,
I should be where Dre is.
Yes.
Do you agree
agree.
with that?
Yeah.
Quick has done a lot.
Quick is
a lot.
fucking, Quick is amazing. Like Quick is like I'm sort of in that realm of thinking that he should be.
He should be.
I can't say
more.
He should
be talked about more.
He should be talked about more, but I can't say what he should or shouldn't be because ultimately that's kind of up to him, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but also, go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
This is what I'm gonna say, right? And this was told to me. I was having a conversation with Charlamagne, and he told me you can't be a legend unless your tree bear fruit.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
He told me that, and I had sat and thought about that for 2 weeks.
So whereas Dre is
50.
I
mean, it goes
everybody.
on and on.
I mean, Quick got sugar free, but I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone.
No,
I
no,
know,
no,
I know,
I'm not saying.
I know.
No.
I'm just
Free
gonna
is-
throw one out there. That's it.
Okay, for
Yeah.
sure. They
No,
are both.
I
To me,
get
they
it.
are both legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick
It's not
and
even a
Sugar Free
thing.
are legends, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like it's not a comparable thing.
No.
People who fuck with what they fuck with Quick, right? People who fuck with Dre fuck with Dre. People who fuck with other people fuck with other people. That's not. Daz also should be. Daz is one of them people who should be in these
Yep.
conversations as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
I feel like
So
there's-
it's like, come on, like, so the thing is, I try to avoid them conversations because those conversations get out of control. It just be a lot of people not paying. See, I'm okay with having an objective conversation if we're talking about just stats, numbers,
yeah.
just facts. Opinions, we'll be here all night.
Fact.
Right.
Because I have my own opinions, but the actual facts speak. They tell the truth, in my opinion.
So with what you guys were building way back then, and you had your reasons, right? And it was
Your
you really
why.
wanted to be on the radio. You really saw this. When did you realize that, damn, like we really advocating, and we're really doing a lot more than just fulfilling what we want to do, because that takes a lot. Like you said, at the time you didn't have a lot of listeners. I'm sure there wasn't money pouring in, but there was something besides the personal goals that kept it moving. And do you look back on that now and be like, damn, we actually were really pioneers, because it's really trailblazing.
And I'm glad we kept going.
Glad we can. I'm gonna tell you the moment that I knew. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Let me get that chicken salad.
Go ahead.
I love it.
Run it.
The moment I knew, again, we talk about radio being the foundation, right?
Oh, I don't have no.
And we've had some amazing things happen after this, but for us, when we interviewed Julio G, people that, when I say Julio G,
He
Oh,
came to the
no.
apartment
Julio G pulled up to my apartment.
in Inglewood.
He drove from Linwood.
I pulled up on Julio in Linwood before.
He
a couple
drove
times.
from Imperial all the way down from Linwood to Crenshaw to my apartment. Came up in there, we're interviewing him, we're talking, and in the middle of the interview, I'm just blown away at the fact that he just pulled up, first of all.
We
'Cause the
idolize
guy-
you. You gotta understand, like
West Side
Yes.
Radio,
Like that.
there would be no Homegrown if it wasn't for West Side
we
Radio.
idolize Julio G.
Yes.
So as Julio's on our couch, on my couch, and he said, man, this remind me when we kicked off at K-Day. This same energy in here, what y'all got, man, keep going. This remind me of when we started off doing our thing, man, and West Side Radio, like, so he's giving us the accolades, like the props in real time, and I'm just like,
This is it.
this is crazy.
It didn't get no. It was like
That's it.
That's it.
Like we did.
We made it.
It was that moment for me that was just as important as cracking the mic for the first time in LA. For me, having Julio
For
G
us.
sit on that couch and kind of like, in a sense, pass the baton, but kind of like give us props and kind of say, man, y'all on to something.
And we tried to let him go. Like, we don't want to hold you. He's like, nah,
He stayed for
he's
two,
like,
3 hours, gave us all kind of crazy stories.
Yeah.
Just and for that,
Wow.
that's when it was just like, all right,
real.
we got something.
At that point, he was like, all right, we made it. Like,
That's it.
What else is there? And nothing else to do. Like, Julio G just fuck with us.
Julio
like, what
G
you
just
mean?
gave us the cosign.
That's it.
That
That's
was
all we
huge.
needed. So at
Talk
that
about a
point,
battery, that
Yeah.
put the battery in the back. And that let us know, okay, we have a responsibility with this because we know what Julio has done and continues to do, right? And for us, we're like, okay, we're an extension of that. So we have a responsibility to keep that going for, the ecosystem out here.
And I look at it,
artists.
I didn't know until years later when we actually talked to Julio. Actually, he told us some wild shit that he had his strap with him.
Because he was like, I'm going.
He didn't know us.
Yeah.
He didn't know
He didn't know us like that. He just pulled up off the love. But he told us years later that he had his strap on him. And what's funny is I didn't know till years later is when that was all going down and we was like, yo, we don't want to take too much of your time. He's like, no, I'm enjoying myself. Like, this shit really remind me of K-Day, what we was building and stuff like that. That's what we are to certain people. Because you wouldn't have heard NWA if it wasn't for Julio G. You wouldn't have heard Eazy-E if it wasn't for Julio G. You wouldn't have heard that shit. Julio G was the first person to play Eazy-E on the radio. He was the first person to play NWA on the radio. He was the first person to play, I think, Dre on the radio, if I'm not mistaken. He was the first person to play Glasses on the radio, J-Rock. Like, a lot of these people that TDE, all this shit is Julio. You know what I'm saying? We're that for certain people.
Yep.
And so I didn't look at it like that until me and Julio had a conversation later on, and it was like, oh shit. But Chuck is right. When we had that was one of the moments for me. And then the other moment, shout out to our manager Salas, when Salas used to just pull up. Chuck invited him, he never left. So Chuck let him pull up. Nigga was going through some shit. You know what I'm saying?
I guess he managed it.
Why not?
This nigga pulled up like 2010, never left. You know what I'm saying? But
Shout out to
Yeah.
South.
In all fairness, he provided a lot of the atmosphere because when my wife was cooking, he had this genius concept of providing the liquor for that. Because the thing is, it wasn't just, people don't understand, it wasn't just a show that we were having, it was an experience. And he was providing the atmosphere for the experience. So it would literally be us in one room interviewing the artist, but outside was way more popping because they would be playing games, they would be having, girls' night.
Turned
It
Up
was
Thursday.
just turned up Thursday, and Salas would take his meetings and provide the drink and just kind of, make sure that the party was still going, and it led for a great time. And not only that, even if we're talking about Twitter kind of first starting up, the conversations on social media were cracking after the fact. Like, we can count on, after the Thursday night of our show, Friday morning, it would just be nothing but people talking about their
Talking about
experience at
Homegrown.
Homegrown Radio. Yeah, and that's how kind of word drifted off to certain people in different areas about what we got. What the fuck is going on?
I need to pull up next Thursday.
We got to pull it. Or we got to listen. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that was a lot of the promotion for us at the time. But it all started, you know, we talk shit about Salas, but it all started from him being able to kind of provide that environment for people to want to pull up and kind of know what was going on based off of, you know, creating the environment.
And one night after Homegrown, we go to Denny's, me and Silas, and we just sitting in there because Chuck would be drunk, and he
was Drunk Dizzle back in the
he was
day.
drunk Dizzle,
Okay.
But he's 6 years. You 6 or 7?
7.
7 years clean now. So shout out to Chuck. But yeah, Chuck would be drunk, passed out. So we lock the house up, and everybody would just leave, right? So true story. Real
There's
shit.
one time that Terrence Martin and Punch from TDE had to lock up my house at 4 a.m. Like on everything I love. Bro.
Real shit.
I was gone.
That was a thing. Like, all right, who gonna stay and lock up?
Who gonna stay in wow. And so I look back at it now, like you dumbass, your wife,
Your girl is asleep in the room, like yeah, dog, like it was fucked up. But
Wow.
so anyway, one day after we lock up, we go to Denny's.
after we lock up.
After we locked up, after we go to Denny's and we sitting there and Silas was like, so what do you know, what's the goal? Like, what you trying to do? And I'm just like,
Fuck
nigga, fuck you mean, nigga? I want to be successful. And he's like, nah, but like, what's the goal? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because at that time, I couldn't articulate what it. So he was like, well, let me tell you what I think. He said, I think you could be the biggest DJ on the West Coast. This is in 2011. 2012. He was like, I think you could be the biggest. This 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I think you could be the biggest DJ on the West Coast. I'm just like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, in these Felly Fail and all these people, and what you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, nah, this. So we had a whole conversation. I won't dive into that, but he was like, and this is what I think you guys can do. Like, you guys have the passion, but you don't have no direction. You don't have no game plan. You don't have infrastructure. So obviously, like now, our general manager, Sparkle, Salas brought her. Sparkle runs. She's the matriarch of Homegrown Radio.
Backbone.
She runs everything. I don't interfere with that lady. I don't mess with her schedule. Whatever she say, go. Niggas be mad. It is what it is. But you know, and just different things like that, bringing that infrastructure that we needed to take our shit to the next level. And so those two things were pivotal moments, I feel like, that changed the trajectory of what we was doing.
The importance, what you're talking about, the importance of one, advocacy, but also two, understanding that you need to bring in people that
You need a team, bro.
You need a team.
need help.
You know, was that something hard?
For him,
For me.
Hell yeah.
Because I was the one that I was the guy that hijacked the site to make sure that our stream played on
You
our
was
website.
that one to yourself.
I was that one. I'm like, nah,
He
I
would do
got it.
everything.
I'm posting on the site. I'm booking the interview.
Blogging.
Writing the questions out. Nah, just pull up and play the music, dog. I got the interviews. I had to learn how to be a team player in that regards first, like not stepping over some, things that he would say, let him get questions off. And then when Sparkle came in, learning how to like allow her to do certain things, delegate those responsibilities. Like, yo, you got this. Okay, you're the one that's gonna post. You're the one that's gonna maintain the chat room at the time, or just make sure that people get in the apartment, book the interviews. All right, you got the social media. Cool. It took a minute. I'm not gonna lie. It took a minute, but when I did, I saw the response from it. And I'm like, that made me want to say, okay, y'all got this.
So he's the hardest when it comes to building that. He's the hardest to convert, to do something that's unfamiliar or new. It took him a long time for me to get him to do podcasts.
Yeah.
Without music.
I'm a radio baby, so it's
he
like
want
I
to
had
hear
to have music.
He want to hear the
behind me.
music bed and
See, a lot of people
going
skip
into
over that.
songs and
Yeah,
shit. And I'm like,
No,
let's
That's
just
where it's
talk.
at. Yeah.
Let's just talk. Let's have a conversation. He's like, what you mean? I'm like, nigga. We can't play music on. We'll get our shit flagged.
Yeah. I need the format and all that.
Is it the change? Is change difficult being that was something from your upbringing, or is it that because you were always so hands-on and you were doing it yourself that relinquishing any of that feels like you're giving away of yourself? Like what?
I think a little of both. A little of both. I'm more of, I like routine. I like to know what's going on from the morning, and I get that from my mom, right? My mom is a very structured individual, so I got that coming up. It's like, all right, we're doing this at what time, and then we're doing it here. This person's involved, so a lot of that rubbed off into me for sure. So yeah, that was a part of it. But then, having to let go of it, it took a minute. And once I started doing it and seeing the benefits of it, it was easier to say, okay, I got to shed that part of me in order to grow.
Growth, man.
For sure.
Growth.
It was hard, though, I'm not going to lie.
And my shit is unorthodox. Single mom. I had a key when I was in the 2nd grade. Like, we just was figuring shit out on the fly. Like, my mom would just come home and be like, hey, she'd give me a bag of batteries from the 99-cent store and a flashlight. Be like, you know, the electricity gonna be off till I get paid in 10 days. And that was just it. Like, it wasn't no like, oh my God, it was just matter of fact. So that's kind of like the backstory of where a lot of my personality comes from. It's all matter of fact. Like, hey, what you think about this record? And that shit's trash. What you mean? And then it's Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
that
you don't know other way.
yeah. So that's not how I'm programmed. It wasn't structured like that. Everything was just Tuesday. Everything. The car broke down. We had to leave it on the side of the road. We had to sleep in the car for 2 weeks. We had the couch hot for 2. It's Tuesday. So none of it to me is structured like that. It's all chaos, and it's like a controlled chaos in my brain.
You know what's funny, as you say that? Because product of a broken home as well, you know, but I think, again, my mom did a good job at shielding me from the bullshit. So where there was chaos, I never knew. It was like, oh, I knew every Saturday we was going to the movies to go see our favorite movie at the
Hell
time.
no.
I had a great come up. You know?
He shamed me for not having cable. On the radio, we was on the radio. He shamed me with that clip. Remember when I called my mom and told on you?
What you talking about? I don't remember that.
He said, well, I had cable growing up.
Hey, man,
Look, I didn't have no fucking cable. You know what I'm saying?
I said, yo, bad.
I think
It sound a lot like us.
it sounded a lot like
I'm the same way.
Okay.
I like structure. I like to know like
What's
what's
going
coming
on.
around the corner. I like to see fucking I'd like the
and
steps.
it's in my mind.
Yeah.
And he is like, no, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all
What
right.
you mean it's gonna be
I
good?
got it. Did you write it down? No,
Nah,
it's good.
straight.
Nah,
It's
fuck
straight,
that.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think
But
hearing
listen-
what you said is something that I have to
Learn how
work
to.
on. And I was actually praying about it this morning on the plane. Like, let me open myself up to not get so like riled up, because if I don't have the sequence of what the hell's
I
going
love
on,
you, bro.
Hold on, I'm gonna push back.
No, wait. No.
Hold on, let him get his shit off.
Go ahead and
Finish
say
up.
what
I'm
he was
gonna
gonna
get
say.
it off. Finish,
Wait up,
finish what you're
Chuck.
saying. You
Let
said
him
your prayer.
say what he
He
needs
said
to
his
say.
prayers. Go ahead. You said.
but
No, I'm gonna say
still
one
don't
thing.
mean
No, I agree.
you can't pull it together.
No,
go.
So I'm more of, listen, I it's funny because I had the same sort of what you're saying, the chaos, right? And because of the chaos, you're you're just getting up like, I got to do what I got to do.
Facts.
It's
the
not
comfort level.
It's almost
No
like
matter how you feel.
it's almost like if you hooped, right? It's like it don't matter or whatever. I just know we got to go hoop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't make it now, because the other part that you guys hinted to earlier was the teamwork part. So now and we've been a team, but as we are now
Assembling everything.
even more invested in one another, because this is a real investment, it behooves both of us to listen to each other. And like, I knew like, so prior to the end of last year, it wasn't like, this is my brother, but we were, it was just like, sometimes I know he was like, motherfucker. And I was like, man, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have you always, and I'm always, you think I'm nonchalant and don't care. That's not it at all.
It's Tuesday.
It's, man, Tuesday like a motherfucker.
It's Tuesday, nigga.
So
The plane is going down.
So-
Okay, we've established that. How we gonna survive this motherfucker? That's what I'm worried about.
And
Niggas is worried about the plane going down. Fuck the plane. What we gonna do?
but it's now this is an amazing moment. Like sitting with y'all, this is an amazing moment. Like, this is gonna help us so much, and this is why these things need to happen. Cause you guys are, y'all 15 years, but also not only friends, but y'all are like 10 to 15 years with Homegrown Radio. And so like, while you're asking me about the second kid, I'm listening to you about,
Right.
wow, this is what it's gonna take for the partnership
Yeah.
to grow,
Yeah.
and we gonna have these moments. So are there moments where y'all like haven't talked to each other for a couple of weeks or had any kind of falling outs? You had to have
I'm
something.
gonna be perfectly honest. No, but
Never.
the closest moment that we had was the reason why I stopped drinking. We were, he's known that I like to drink all these years. It's just whatever, right? But it got to the point where we had just got hired at Real. Imagine we're talking about all these stories about the apartment. we're playing, right? We're just playtime. We get hired at Real. He gets hired at Real, gets me in the door, and now Homegrown is on Real 92.3. And
Game time.
game time.
Game time.
This ain't practice no more. This is game time. I'm still, man, but I like to, have a good time. It helps me with the interviews. Just breaks the ice, all these excuses at the time, right? And there was one day where we're on air and I'm leaving. Shout out to Quiz. I was leaving one of his release parties or whatever. He was doing something at the time. I'm leaving there, going to the station, drunk. I don't know that I'm drunk. I'm thinking I just had a couple sips. I'm cool. I had 2 cups before I left. I'm straight. And he's telling me that I'm slurring on air.
You're telling him that.
Oh, I was hot.
He was pissed.
I was hot.
But this is Hed, man. You square. You don't drink. Like, I get it. Like coming from a square myself, but I'm just like, you don't drink, whatever. Like I know my limit. I'm good. Not realizing as I'm getting older, my tolerance is changing. So before we're back at the apartment, I can knock down a couple bottles. We good. Over here, couple drinks, you getting drunk Dizzle. So I'm on the air.
Drunk Dizzle's on the air.
Drunk Dizzle's on the
He
air.
turning the mic on during songs and shit. He don't remember this shit. He turning the mic on during songs.
I think he's exaggerating.
No,
But
no.
however,
However,
he's getting upset. That's
it.
one of the closest moments that I saw him kind of like a little irritated in not a typical DJ Hed irritated mode, right? So again, fast forward, we get off air, we good, like I get home safe. He just pulls up on me out of nowhere. Now, he lives in the valley.
this is the next day.
The next day.
Okay.
He lives in the valley. I live in Carson. I'm cool.
You still live in Carson?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Still in
You down the
Carson.
street.
Yeah.
I'm on
Still in
Beach.
Carson. He pulls up on me just randomly. The fuck you doing here? What's up? What's up? And again, Hed is Hed, so I'm just thinking he's just being him. So yeah, so what's up? What we doing? What you mean? What's your problem, dog? Fuck you mean my problem? Like, you Hed, come on, what you doing? He's like, nah, man, we got to figure this out. Why do you have a drinking problem? Flat out. I'm like, oh shit. Now, I've stopped drinking a couple times and I've, fell back on a wagon, but it was always, okay, I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna cool out for a little bit. But every time I would go back, it would get a little more intense. And just for the sake of the conversation, to let you know how extreme it was, I done had a DUI before. I done sideswiped cars before. I done some extreme shit that I'm not proud of, right? So here we are to this moment. I'm thinking like, in the back of my mind, I know it's kind of a big deal, but I'm like, whatever. He's like, look, bro, be honest. I can't protect you no more. Like, if some shit goes down at the station, this is your warning, dog. I can't protect you. What if we get fired? Like, my hands are up. We got so much that's going on right now with Homegrown. You got so many people that's looking at you right now. You're being an example. So a lot of people, and we just got our foot in the door over here, and you just want to fuck the opportunity off over this. That's when I was like, I gotta have that inner look and really feel like, what am I dealing with? And those are the tough questions I had to ask myself to say, okay, why are you picking this up? What are you trying to hide from? And ever since then, that was my last drink was that night at Quiz's party 7 years ago.
He went, to his credit though, he went cold turkey, right? And I told him, and I was like, look, because I basically made it clear, like, it's either this or that, right? I'm out. I'm not fucking with nothing, Homegrown, whatever. It's all over, right? Because you're not gonna be here long enough to fuck with it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole thing. And then the other thing is just like, just fuck the biz as a friend. Like, nigga, you gonna die. So at some point, you're not gonna get lucky. You know what I mean? But anyway, where I was coming from was, if we're gonna do this, like, let's do this. And then to his credit, I told him, I'm like, look, if you stop, like, nigga, we got your back. Like, it's not just you. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think what's even crazier to his credit is after he stopped drinking,
Turned up.
he went through the most shit he's ever been through in his life. Like, internally, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with everything. Then he had a baby on the way, and then this, and they start cutting his hours and fucking, and it was just like boom, 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 boom.
Every reason that I had to drink at the time.
Oh, they gave it to
like,
him. But I felt like that was a universe, like, what you gonna do, nigga?
yeah, it's right here.
Like, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he didn't do it. And so,
Dope.
to his credit, like, that's, to me, that was some man shit.
For anybody that is kind of struggling, one thing that helped me, I made a note on my phone, and I listed everything. I listed my relationship with my wife. I listed Homegrown. I listed all of the things that I had to risk to lose. And I made an extreme.
By continuing a certain behavior.
By taking one sip.
Yeah.
I didn't even, because for me in my head, I was like, okay, slowing down, I could probably slow down and not drink as much. I said, no. One sip, you lose everything. Is it worth it? Hell, of course. When you say it out loud, hell no, it's not worth it. But every time I got tempted, look back at the list. And then for the people that don't know, like, because me and wifey, she's the closest to me. She already sees these things. She was the one that literally, when I was getting arrested for a DUI, she happened to be pulling up on the street while I was going on and saved me from getting my car towed at the time. Like, universe crazy, right? God crazy. So she sees these moments. So for her, like so I list those things, my relationship, my wife, these are the things that I risk losing if I decide to take another drink. I mean, harming yourself, harming somebody else, God forbid, like all of these things I had to put down and really face those harsh realities of these things if I lost every single thing. Now, not being on the radio, which is one of my biggest goals. Like, you mean to tell me you worked your ass off to get to this point?
And you ready to
You're here,
throw
and
it
you
to
just
the-
ready to throw it all away?
Yeah.
For that? Hell no, it's not worth it. And I'm one of the biggest, at the time, I was one of the biggest drinkers. Nah, it ain't worth it. And again, to his credit, he kind of made me face myself in a way that I wasn't able to at the time. You know what I mean? But we didn't have no big falling out. It was just as simple as, hey, bro, look.
And that's love.
That's real love. That's real love.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
that's
So
real
that
love.
if anybody ever tells me, and we joke all the time, they can call him an asshole, they can say all these things about him, whatever. But that's just one of those things. I'm like, you can't tell me about my dude right here, because he'll take the shirt off his back for you. He'll show you his love in different ways, and that's what I'm proud to see over the years when we go back to that conversation.
Held
Like,
you
yo, I see the
accountable.
evolution. Yeah, I
When
can
you
count
couldn't
on him,
hold yourself.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's true brotherhood and like the camaraderie. A lot of people don't have that. You know what I mean?
And it's needed, man. Like his family, like it's his girl's like 90th, her grandmother's 90th birthday is coming up, and like he didn't even know, probably, like them sending me the invitation, like, hey, you coming to her 90th? I'm like, yo, because I know what she means to the family. She's
Facts.
the matriarch, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to the party. You know what I
Big
mean? Like
deal,
I'm
yeah,
touched,
yeah.
like. Because it means a lot, because it's also as him. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The way that we have fallen into each other's lives. I was going to say something to you also. One of the about Hed, so we know how, he's blunt.
Brash.
Yo, I told him, I texted him this. I was like, yo, so I saw Hed somewhere, and I was telling him about the podcast, and I think we had just maybe filmed one thing. And I showed it to him, and he was like, yeah, I wanted to hate it, but it's dope. He was like, it's too dope. It's like
right.
a real, it's dope.
Yeah.
And I was like,
We on to something.
Not even that, not like, because my confidence was high anyway, but the fact that he was, I was like, yo, because this motherfucker don't like nothing. And I'm like, yo, he was just like, nah. He was like, I wanted to. This is dope.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
It's dope. And I was like, oh, shit. You going to be on the show at one point? And so from then, we've been trying to, like, reel it in, and we've seen each other.
But I think
Out and about.
in my defense, right,
In
my defense, I come from a family of fucked up people. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother just passed, rest in peace. My grandma was the worst. She was ugly. Like, when it come to, like, our brutal honesty, like, she would tell you some wild shit. Like, you know you ugly as a motherfucker, right? Like, but it's Tuesday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just going about her day. Like she didn't just, like, all the confidence you've been in the gym and all that, gone. Right?
Erased.
So,
Gone.
I'm actually the lightweight in my family. That's what people don't understand. My mom, she used to be ruthless. Now, she got soft as she got older. You know what I'm saying? My mom's soft now. She love everything, want to hug everybody and shit. But, like my family kind of toxic a little bit. You know what I mean?
Kind of toxic.
And so my love language is talking shit. And the more shit I talk to people, usually the more I fuck with them. Like him, we be killing him and his son and his wife.
Family.
No. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ain't nobody off limits?
Nah.
Man, I would read you the text message. Right.
Hell no, ain't nobody off limits.
got
I used to
sick
do
this
this thing
morning.
called Roast Room at the radio station where I get on Instagram Live and be like, yo, who want to step in the roast room? And then, people think they got jokes, so I'll take them live and we just go roast each other. But see, what I do is, like, I don't fight fair. So, like, what I'll do is I'll go to your I'll find your Facebook and go find your aunties and your uncles and your little sister with a disability, like, cause that's how we get in. Bro, I'm from the East Side. None of that shit matter. Your mom in the hospital, nigga. That's
It's a Tuesday.
That's fair game.
He said, line them up.
Yeah. So, like, So it's very. I've adjusted, like you said, the involvement, right? I appreciate the words, but I'm just saying I've gotten to a place now where This is
tame.
This is tame, DJ Hed. In real life, like Silas tell you all the time, like, nigga, I polished this nigga up for y'all. Cause I was a different type of, it was bad, bro.
Go look up DJ Hed prior to what, 2000?
They don't exist.
2000 on Twitter.
They don't exist.
Before
scrub
2000.
Oh yeah. Shout out to tweetdeleter.com. I don't know who started that website, but if you are coming up in this business and you got a skeptical past, tweetdeleter.com. Best $9.99 I ever spent.
This is not an ad.
I started my Twitter 2008, but I don't have no tweets between 2008 and 2014. All of them gone. And you can search keywords. You could type in your name, type in a keyword, and delete all the tweets at once. Nigga, all that shit gone. Because Twitter wasn't real when we was coming up. It was a group chat.
It was,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, like all that, man, listen, hey, if you find some only thing that people can come get me now for is the shit I said after where I knew better. And everything I say, I stand on. Except for some of that on homegrown shit, we got to still scrub that. Some homegrown shit we got to go through.
All right, but look.
We got to go through. We just talked about that the other day. We got to get rid of some of that shit.
Crazy. Question, music. How you feel about the state of where music is right now? And I'm not the young guys versus the old guys or whatever, just in general as people that have been in the game for so long, fans of the music, pioneers in
Because
your
y'all are
space,
fans first.
Facts.
We all fans
Yes.
first.
Yeah.
Even as an A&R, like, I was like, I didn't even, I'm a fan of music. I
Facts.
wanted to identify talent early and get it to where it needed to be, position it great, and hopefully have what we would call a box set career. I want you to have a box set, the greatest hits.
I'm gonna let him go because he's nicer than I am.
No, I mean, I'm hopeful for the artists that are coming up. I'm hopeful what's out there right now because of the possibility. Like, we're in the age now, technology kind of rules the world. So somebody in their bedroom can literally be the next superstar. I like that. Where some people may say, man, is diluting the quality of it. I love the opportunity that brings, you know. So I'm hopeful for it. I love that side of it, but, you know, there are other sides where it's just like, okay. But for me, I feel like that artist that you're looking for, that somebody wants to complain about, all you have to do is find them. It may not be in the mainstream sense in this world or whatever.
Yep.
They exist, and it's easier to find them today than it had been prior.
There's an artist for you, no matter what you're into.
Exactly.
The state of music in total, I think it's in a good place. I think that the playing field has been leveled, and the barrier to entry has been more, you know, easier. But I think that it's still harder because everybody's competing for exposure and eyeballs. Attention is the new currency.
Yeah.
So because attention is the new currency, it kind of makes it more difficult. Because at that, like, you got to think, when we were coming up, we were being either fed or force-fed what we're supposed to listen to, what we're supposed to watch, what we're supposed to consume. Music videos, TRL, 106 in Park, whatever, right? Now, I can just go on my phone and look at whatever the fuck I want to look at, right? So now it's how do you get to the people? And I think that a lot of times the people that are in power who control the money don't have the vision of, they don't speak to the ground level individual. And what I mean by that is, if I'm an artist and I'm putting my music on DSPs, right, Spotify, Apple Music, shit like that, right? If I'm putting my music on a distribution service, you're no different than Drake. You're no different than Nicki Minaj, but you're also no different than a Stevie Crooks or a Terrace Martin or any of these artists, right? So how do people find you? Through playlisting, through ads. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. They've taken something that was supposed to be level and then now made it to where it's still the same shit over and over again. So I think that the music industry in total is going to continue to be disrupted and revolutionized through technology on a yearly basis. Not even 5, no more 10. It's a yearly basis at this point. Yeah. I just found out about this service where people are a lot, like even Russ just did it. I think Russ just was doing. Russ is very disruptive. I love Russ, yeah. But I like the fact that artists are kind of taking their power in their own hands and like, hey, no, I got fans. I could do hard tickets. Russ sold out the Staples Center by himself, no opening acts, no nothing, right? That's crazy, being the fact that he's not from here and he's not a mainstream artist. I mean, mainstream when it comes to a major label, right?
Always on the radio, blah blah blah.
Facts.
Yeah.
So. You got
Lil Russell too.
Lil Russell, shout out to Lil Russell.
Great example.
I love Lil Russell.
I
think that what these artists are doing is very disruptive, and it's going to continue to be that way until these people in power, these structures and these control systems get with the program. Mm-hmm. They need to understand that, one, you're not needed. Number two, the only thing that separates you from everybody else is you have resources and money. Yeah. That's it. Because we are the sauce, the people, the artists. You're the sauce. And
the real creators.
We are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We control the cool. We control what's dope. We control the narrative. And all you do is amplify our voice. Now, how do you plan on participating in what's going to happen, right? So I just found out about this thing where artists can sell basically equity in their songs to their fans. And in turn, as a song blows up, you make money like a stock, right? I don't want to say what the name of the shit is, but it's some shit out there where you can literally buy into a song and invest into music, right? Like stocks. So like if YG dropped this new record right here, you can now own a piece of that record, and then as it blows up, you make money in royalties and back end. Yeah. That's a whole nother shift. Then there's other thing that I can't speak on that Amazon Music is doing. And other thing, all these disruptive things are gonna make the music industry reinvent itself over and over and over again, and it's only going to benefit the artists if you know how to take advantage of it.
I totally agree with you. I think the only thing that I'm in a little bit of I'm not so optimistic about is the people that continue to remain in power.
Yeah.
Right. So like you got a lot of, you look at the record companies. You know what I mean? Shit look like the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, you don't have to sign a deal.
No, but and I get that. But what I'm saying is, in terms of even having the opportunity to, like I said, we talk about it, the people in the hierarchy in the offices, right? We're not talking about just the deal making or whatever. We're talking about generational wealth.
Yeah. Facts.
The people in these seats are blocking generational wealth from happening.
That's true.
Through lack of education and through fair business practice.
I'm gonna push back on that. That's not necessarily true.
In terms of what?
Because education now is subjective. Education is in your pocket. If you on Shade Room all day, that's on you. Because you can be learning, you can be on Earn Your Leisure. You know what I'm saying? You can't be on on my way over here, I'm listening to Bigger Pockets podcast. I'm listening to, Market Mondays. I'm listening to all these different things. I'm listening to Rich Dad. I'm listening to.
When I say lack of education, though, I'm more speaking about if you like you shared, right? You got a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Who makes a video or makes a record, goes on SoundCloud or whatever happens, and it goes viral. Immediately, that kid's got to assemble a team.
Facts.
And it don't take long for so-and-so, the manager who's, you know, an analytic guy, he's calling out.
Very predatory.
Somebody's getting like, hey, we're going to drop you a car and blah, 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 blah. And before anything, already the level, the education it's been taken away.
But see, I disagree because the onus is not on them. We've never been in a position where we've never been educated by them properly. When I say them, I'm talking about everybody. The music industry, the entertainment business, schools, churches.
Oh, yeah.
We've never been properly educated by anybody.
Oh, yeah.
When I was growing up, the food pyramid was a thing. It was a fucking pyramid that told me to eat 7 servings of bread a day. That's insane. 5 servings of milk a day. That's fucking crazy. Right?
Exactly.
We've never been properly educated by anybody. So the onus is on us as a community. You, him, me. We need to teach our people shit. We need to share the information. We need to share the game. And that's why shout out to Ab-Soul. He told me stop giving the game away, but you have to. Because if you don't, predatory things like that will happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only reason why you know that you should not cross the street without looking both ways because you were taught that either through lesson or through experience.
Yep.
So that either, and shout out to Glasses, he used to tell me that. He's like, if you don't learn this lesson, life gonna teach you this lesson.
Life gonna life.
Life is gonna life, bro. And so I think the onus is on us. I'm saying I'm talking about all of them. They are never gonna properly educate us because they never have.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Athletes, lawyers,
Benefits them.
they've never properly educated us, right? So that being said, it's on us to educate ourselves.
Because the education is out there.
Yeah. And so when you get, like I said, when you get on your phone and you on Instagram and you looking at the bad bitches and this and that, it's other shit you could be looking at and learning. Now, don't be mad at the record label because you did an 80-20 deal and all of the money come off your split. You should have been on a website looking that up. Period. I hate that. I don't like that narrative, like especially when artists pick a fight with their label, like, oh, the label fucked me, they won't let me off. You signed the deal.
You did that to yourself.
You didn't have to take this money. You know what I'm saying? Kanye was doing all that shit. People always do all that after the fact. You wasn't saying nothing when you was buying your Pele and doing all of the weird shit you.
Pele.
That's what he said he did when he got his money.
No, I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying, like,
Cheers to the rock.
yeah, like, no, you wasn't doing it when you was buying shit and doing all that. You was shopping and all that. You wasn't complaining. You complaining now because you know, but you should have knew, or you should have had somebody around that did know, or you should blame the people who didn't tell you. But other than that, you took the money. And another thing I'm gonna say to artists, if you're not ready to play the music industry game, if you're not ready to make hit records, do not sign a record deal.
Don't, period.
At all. If you're not ready to make hit records, not what you think is dope, not you lyrically amazing, not what your homies think is fire. If you're not ready to make top 40 records that's gonna compete with Rihanna, Beyonce, and all these other people, do not sign a record deal.
Stay independent.
Stay independent and drop your shit, play a catalog game, and drop every five months like G Perico do or whatever. And be a young boy. Build your own shit, because if you sign that deal, you're gonna be mad in 8 months.
And the blueprint is there now.
And
Like
that's
you said,
why I say I'm hopeful.
Russ,
Yeah.
Russell, NBA young boy. There's a lot of these young cats that have taken what the Jays and like a lot of the artists from and really expanded on that even further. So again, the education is there, the blueprint is there, but again, people don't want to put in the work.
People don't want to know,
read.
bro.
People don't want to be.
This is the elephant in the room that Malik is not addressing. Niggas gon' nig. That's the first chapter.
The first chapter of the
That's
book.
the first chapter of the book I'm writing right now. That's literally the first chapter of my book that I'm writing. It's called Niggas is Gon' Nig. Because at the end of the day, niggas is trying to escape their reality, not construct it.
It's a lot of layers to that.
Facts.
It's a lot of layers.
I stand on it.
I understand, but it is a lot of layers, and that's a soundbite that could be taken.
I don't care how people take it.
I know, but it could be
gotta read the book.
misinterpreted. They could misinterpret it.
Facts. And the people who misinterpret it, I have no interest in talking to you. See,
I love that you stand on. No, I get it.
Yeah. So the thing is, and just so y'all know, and your viewers know, a key to my personality is I say very salacious things intentionally. I know exactly what I'm saying, but I actually there's always fact. My thoughts and opinions are always rooted in fact, but I say them in a salacious way to weed out the thin out the herd a little bit. So if I say some wild shit like, the divorce rate in this country went up because women got the right to vote, that would sound crazy. That's a headline. Oh my God, he's misogynistic. I'm not interested in talking to them people. I want to talk to people who be like, well, explain what you mean by that. Those are the people who are open-minded enough to understand other perspectives, and therefore I want to have a conversation or a dialogue with those people. Everybody else who just, oh my God, he said this, get the fuck out of here.
Real talk.
Jalen said that, right? The
Real
truth.
talk. The
truth isn't as sexy as when they
perpetuating some other shit. Yeah. Yo, listen, man. No. I'm super thankful that y'all came on.
This is good.
You know what I mean? Like sitting down with y'all. I hope we can do it again.
For sure.
We should come. Can we come on Homegrown?
Pull up.
We'll definitely pull up.
Pull up.
Again, thank you. Super advocacy is everything. We talk about that on this show all the time. Advocacy. Like without it, we can't create a different reality. Because the advocacy allows us to okay, let me put him in this room. He would be, he'll do well in that room. And then he brings it around. And then, you know what I mean? Like, Hed is specifically for something, a part of No. I'm just saying, you're specific.
I get it.
Chief is specifically, I'm specifically. But it then, collectively, we've covered everything.
Right.
And then we go and we educate and we, again, community. And then we have a robust generational wealth and robust just period. Because that's the space I feel like we have to be in going forward. Nothing else is acceptable.
I feel like that's all rooted in bringing it back full circle, being homegrown, and that's what our platform has always been about. So I love that. Again, the meeting of the minds, we can do this, and I look forward to future conversations, man. And y'all continuing to build, and salute to y'all, salute to the team. This is a big deal. Like, I know y'all know, but this is an amazing opportunity that y'all are doing, man, for sure. So
this did not always exist for us. So don't take it for granted. That's how I look at it.
We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
We got to.
Sweet life with the pioneers, man.
The pioneers.
I want to give y'all flowers, man. Just much respect, admiration.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to continue to watch you guys grow even more. I'm just excited about all this, and I'm just appreciative that you guys will come spend some time with us, man. So, again, much love, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all, for sure.
Chuck Dizzle, DJ Hed, Chief, Malik Rashid, A Sweet Life. Appreciate y'all.
West Coast.